Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived FIRST Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com. First Updates Now is brought to you by Twitch. Fun is now a Twitch partner and offering some awesome subscriber-only benefits. Subscribe today or get a free subscription each month when you have Amazon Prime by linking your account and clicking subscribe.
To take a step back and relax, calm your stress while coloring, and talk to some great people in the FRC community. I'm your host, Kristine Atiyeh from Wordplay All Day and FRC 125, The Neutrons. On today's episode, we have the director of FIRST Robotics Competition, Frank Merrick. He's on to discuss the registration process of the 2018 season and an awesome event that happened last week in New York City, the FIRST Gala, and what it's like to be Frank Merrick. Also, we'll be bringing on producer Tyler to discuss what's to come in the fun season in 2018. So let's welcome onto our show the director of FRC, Frank Merrick.
Hey,
Frank,
Kristine.
how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So glad you can be on. We really appreciate it.
Oh, sure. No problem.
So, Frank, we value your time this evening, and so no drawing on your end. We'd probably have to pay you a lot more money to do that. Have you on the show to discuss some of our great topics.
Sure.
All right, so however, I will be coloring in the drawing today, and let's look at today's drawing for everybody. Got a lot of different topics to discuss today, and Tyler has dropped the URL in the chat, so if you don't have it already, you can download it and go ahead and color it in. All right, so Tyler, do you want to talk real quick about what the viewers can possibly win today?
Oh, absolutely, Kristine. So Frank, thanks once again for coming on the show. We're very excited to have a little bit of coloring, talk a little about what's going on in the FIRST community. We do have a couple giveaways today to do. So one is, of course, from Wordplay All Day, which is Kristine's Etsy website. So make sure you go and check that out. We're giving away the 2017 Houston or St. Louis winning line sticker sheet. It is one or the other. And then as well, if you're interested, we'll be giving away the drawing that Kristine's doing during the show. So she's got double duty. She's got to draw and talk at the same time, which sometimes that is a little difficult to do. So good luck, Kristine, and make it a great show.
Thanks. All right, so to kick things off, Frank, can you give us an idea of what it's like to be you, an average day in the life of the FRC director at FIRST headquarters? What does that entail?
Sure. It's honestly not so exciting, but I tend to get to work. I tend to get to work pretty early. I'm usually in by about 7 a.m. or so, and I like getting up in early because it's quiet. I mean, there are some other people that get in at 7 as well, but I just like the quiet. It gives me a chance to kind of get ready for the day, have a cup of coffee, I heat up my breakfast burrito. Same breakfast burrito every day, but it's fine. You know, it's what I do.
Whatever.
Yeah. And I'll check out kind of like I might check out Chief Delphi or something along those lines. I'll check the stats, you know, see if there's anything new on Chief. Or anything. There's always something new. I guess I should say. I see if there's anything interesting on Chief, and I'll check lately. Of course, I've been every day really checking the stats to see how we're doing in terms of getting new teams in, kind of what the wait list counts are looking like, that kind of thing. Later on in the morning, once the more of the staff starts showing up, I'll tend to kind of walk around, just check with people, see how things are going. We're on a couple of different floors. The FRC staff is, so I'll try to swing by and just at least say hi to the folks that are around, just for a quick hello and a quick check-in. And really, that's it. I mean, a lot of meetings lately about the 2018 game, the 2019 game, lots of activity around that.
Oh wow!
And really, that's about it. And probably not so much in 2019 now, but mostly 2018. But still, there's some activity for the 2019 game that's still kind of chugging along. And really, that's about it until sort of the end of the day. Usually get out maybe, I don't know, 5:36, something like that, you know, kind of head home and do some more emails. That's right. Talk on web shows. That's right. Well, that's it. So it's not so, it's all right. I mean, I love my job. Don't get that wrong. I love my job, but kind of day-to-day stuff is just sort of day-to-day.
So how many emails a day do you think you get? Ballpark.
Boy, that's a great question.
Because I think that number is probably pretty high.
I don't, you know what? I wouldn't even be able to, I don't, honestly, I don't know how high that is. A lot of stuff, we do a lot of stuff by Skype as well now, kind of in work. We use Skype a lot for quick communications. I don't know, maybe 50 or 100, something like that. Something along those lines. I don't know. That's a guess.
So what is your favorite aspect of your job, like throughout the year? Because I'm sure that your job really changes form throughout the year when it's like build season, competition season, postseason.
Yeah. My favorite part of the job is interacting with teams, but I have to say that I'm an extreme introvert, so sometimes it's very hard for me to do that, honestly. But I'll walk around events and I'll say hi, and I don't know. It's I love it, but like I said, it's just it takes me personally a lot of energy because, like I said, I'm a pretty extreme introvert. But I love doing things like this. I mean, I wish it wasn't so late, because it's just about my bedtime, but because I get up pretty early. But I certainly don't love doing things like this. And I love one of the other things that I like about my job is writing the FRC blog. Trying to put a little humor, a little kind of personality into the blog. That's something else I like as well. So.
So, and I'm sure people are wondering what this awesome drawing of your infamous t-shirt is on my coloring sheet. So I saw you at River Age wearing this shirt and a bunch of quotes on the back. So can you tell us a little bit about the shirt?
You know what? That shirt was given to me several years ago by someone that I can't remember. And I would thank them if I could remember that. But I remember I was at an event and someone had a shirt. They said, "Hey, Frank, you want this shirt?" I said, "Yeah, sure. I'll take it." So I don't know because I don't even know that this phrase "reasonably astute observer" is actually in the game manual anymore. We may have kind of evolved away from using that phrase, but for a while it was back in the day. It was pretty popular and people had a lot of fun with it because obviously it means that there's some subjective call that needs to go on related to a rule, and that's subjective calls aren't always the best calls, but sometimes it's hard to have a completely objective game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So moving on, onto the registration process. It's been a completely different version for teams this year. So it's shifted over to the lottery system for 1 and 2 for teams, and it seemed like it went pretty well. Can you talk to us a little bit about what made that change and how it went on the headquarters side of things?
Sure. So what we were trying to do is we were seeing, of course, year after year, this craziness with the first come, first serve, and everyone having to be ready at exactly 12 noon Eastern time, no matter where your team happened to be located. And we were just getting a lot of concerns from teams saying, this isn't really fair. It's great for the Eastern teams, but there's one mentor that can do this, and he or she is working, and not every team has sort of a bank of laptops that they can set up, and everybody pressing return at the same time to try to be the first one in. And so it was really kind of skewing things towards the teams that were in our minds anyway. Well-resourced, or at least I guess you would say at least well-prepared, and not all of our teams are kind of in that way. For as I said in one of the blogs that, or maybe it was in the FAQ, I can't remember. That's just not the reality for many of our teams. They might have school teachers as mentors, and it just is not working out. And so we wanted to provide a way that was more along the lines of first choice in terms of submit your preferences, and we will do our best to sort them out. From that perspective, I don't see us going back to first come, first serve. We know that there were problems with the system, the way it was implemented this year. First time up, we had some problems where teams weren't assigned the events that they should have been assigned, and we went back and we tried to fix that by giving those teams access to those events, but that of course filled up those events maybe with some. It just kind of threw a monkey wrench sort of into the system. Second preference went much better. We still had a small problem, but it was more related to notifications. It wasn't really related to the way that the events were assigned. We did end up with a lot of teams on wait lists. And we're going to be looking at some potential changes for next year in terms of how we can work through those things. So it's not, because no team wants to be on a wait list. We don't want teams on wait lists, and it is a more extensive process to get a team off of wait lists for their second event. First events, normally we could just move them right in, especially if they're a rookie or something along those lines. We can typically move them in pretty quickly. But for second events, the way we're doing it now, and maybe this isn't the way we need to do it, but we actually contact teams for second events. This is for regionals I'm talking about now. And we verify, okay, we've got a slot for you. Do you want to go into this event or not? And most of the time they say yes, but not always. And so there is that sort of feedback process that you need to go through with this series of emails. And of course that takes time, and it's all sort of manual. It's not like a form thing, and maybe that's something we can do. And we are seeing there are an awful lot of teams on wait lists now. There's no question about that. Unfortunately, I don't have any data from last year to see sort of how it compares. I know at least for a few regionals, we increased the number of reserve slots that we had because there was honestly some concern. We didn't know. We've never been to this preference system before. We wanted to make sure, obviously, that those rookies and the sort of the more local teams were taken care of and being able to get to those local events. And so in some cases, those reserve slots were bumped up. So but we know the system wasn't perfect this year. We certainly want to make improvements, and we certainly want to do what we can to kind of manage that waitlist process better. And I imagine it's going to take some time for us to kind of figure all this out. But I do think that the preference process is preferable to the first come first serve, which just seemed sort of unfair and it really just asked too much.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. I mean, my team is lucky enough to be one of the ones on the East Coast with people that are, at their desks and have great Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
For a while it worked out for us, but going through this process really allowed us to kind of come up with different strategies on, okay, if we don't get our number one preference, then we can kind of look at number two, and it really gives you time in between to kind of plan for it. And it was nice to kind of set it the night before and then check it the next day rather than, scheduling your lunch, your meetings around, making sure that you're glued to your desk and able to actually log into the system. I was really impressed with how quick to respond headquarters was with, some of the issues with the New York teams and, other teams, and how transparent you guys were too. Because, I mean, as you said, this was a completely new process. And I think overall, it went pretty smoothly. Obviously, there's going to be some bumps in the road, but, hopefully we can continue to kind of grow and learn from how this went this year.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I hope so as well. And I'm sure we'll be able to. And we want to be able to provide teams more information where we can about sort of, because I know right now it's blind. Like you see that an event is in wait list, you have no idea, are there 5 teams on the wait list or 30 teams on the wait list or what that situation is. And we want to do our best to provide the information we can so that teams can make the best choices on their preferences.
Yeah, and I think too, like thinking about it from a completely different perspective, if you're a rookie, like a lead mentor for a rookie team, I can't even imagine what the registration process must have been like for the lead mentor on a rookie team in past years, where it's just, a total click war, and maybe they log 2 hours later and everything's completely filled up. But this is a lot more comprehensive for everybody across the board. I know that, at least from what I've heard, like I'm in a New England district, and I hear that, different regions do things different ways when it comes to the wait lists and with home districts or home events. Do you think that may be something FIRST would consider moving forward, is creating like a home event for teams?
Sure, it is something that we want to explore. Right now, both Michigan and Pacific Northwest districts have the home event system, which essentially gives teams a fast lane to one specified event, and that one specified event is determined actually right now by their zip code. And so it's something where we get a list of zip code assignments and events in from the district managers of those districts and say, okay, all the teams in this zip code go to this event. And it's not perfect, but it can help make sure that teams that are local get to that local event, and it fast lanes them. So basically they get priority to that first event. And actually the way that the system ran was all those home event teams got assigned first. That was like the first step in the entire process. And then we went back through and assigned non-home event in sort of the regional teams. Of course, the regionals and the districts don't intermix at that point. It's not in that. Also, is not a perfect system. I mean, I think somewhere around something like maybe a third or so, or 25% or so of teams that have that option don't take it, which means that they're giving up a guaranteed slot because they want to go have the chance of playing somewhere else. But that is something that we want to explore. It adds complexity. It adds more data that has to be exchanged. If you can imagine trying to get home district zip codes from every single sort of, every district and sort of every regional, there's just a lot of moving parts there, but it is something that we do want to explore for sure.
Awesome. Let's see what else. So let's see. So you talked about the future of it. So, I mean, hopefully we'll see things get better and better.
Yeah.
So moving on to another part of my drawing. So like I said before, I was one of the lucky people to attend the FIRST Gala in New York City this past Thursday. So this was the third annual gala that FIRST hosted in New York City. And this year, they honored President Barack Obama. So I've checked off my bucket list, breathing the same air as Barack Obama. So can you tell us a little bit about how headquarters prepared for that event last Thursday?
Well, now, this is one of those situations. Now, we do have our own events management sort of group within FIRST headquarters. And so they were really leading the charge on that. So I don't know that they ever really have that particular group ever really has a slow time. Now, from the program's perspective, we did, I'll be honest, nothing. I mean, it was just something that sort of happened that we were hearing about, and that was going on. And I checked with Andrea Mikas, who's the director of our events group, to see how things went. She said, "Oh, they went great," and I talked to some other people. Michelle Long from our alumni relations was there and had a good talk with her this morning about how things went. A couple interesting things on this from my perspective was that. So New York, I understand that New York is about the only city where you can do this, because they have a gala culture, what they call a gala culture, where just people with money who love to be generous, it's just something that they do in New York. And it's not the kind of thing where you could easily do that in another city. It would just be a different sort of experience. They're not inexpensive to put on in New York City, but they tend to raise a lot of money in New York City. I understand that that clock that you're coloring in right now, Dean's clock, which he makes for every gala, that particular clock went for $220,000. I understand.
It did,
which is pretty good money. And I further understand that the particular gala, the proceeds are split between New York City FIRST and FIRST headquarters. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is everything we do in FIRST is built into the budget. So this is all part of the overall budget that we have for FIRST. It lets us do things, as an example, and not that this is directly connected, but FRC just recently hired a mechanical engineer and a mechanical engineering technician, which we were in real need of, looking at, kind of the services that we want to be able to deliver to teams. So all those funds kind of go in and contribute to us being able to do those kinds of things when we need to. So really, it's all good.
Yeah. And so I was at the gala and lucky enough to hear they had a lot of guest speakers from local FLL teams in New York City, local FRC teams, alumni that are going to, NYU and Columbia, and otherwise wouldn't have had those opportunities if it weren't for their FIRST team. So it was really, we hear a lot of speeches throughout, our time in FIRST, but these were definitely like the right people to be having speak at this event. There were hundreds of, like you said, people that look like they're pretty well versed in attending galas. And
Sure.
There was one part of the night where, after Barack Obama spoke, which was pretty amazing, he talked about, his dedication to STEM education and the importance of, continuing to move forward and advancing that. But later in the night, somebody came up and, was the auctioneer for the night and auctioned off Dean's clock, which if you have not seen this clock, like on YouTube, he's made one each year. And this year was a little different. It's called the For Every Step Back, 2 Steps Forward clock. And what that means, if I'm going to try my best to explain this because I'm an art teacher, this is very engineering based. But so the second hand, which was the largest hand on the face of the clock this year, goes, what was it, backwards or forwards in 40 seconds. I don't remember. There's a whole explanation online, but it goes forward and then it goes backwards. And in previous years, the second stand had been on a really small clock face, and this year it was the entire face of the clock, which was really cool to see in person. It did go for $220,000, but after this one item was auctioned off, people were just donating $20,000, $50,000, $5,000 left and right all night to benefit, the FIRST programs, which is pretty incredible. So,
yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine living a life where you can donate that much money. But it's nice to know that people can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really cool moment. And to see, I mean, we've seen the chairman's clocks in person, but this was pretty insane. Like, would love to know how Dean comes up with these things. I can't even begin to imagine. So, but yeah, Michelle Long was there. She invited a lot of different alumni from, around the country. I sat at a table with a girl who was actually in Maine around the same time I was in high school, and now she's out in Boulder, Colorado. We had some alumni from Texas, from MAR. So pretty good showing from the place, and we were able to interact with some of the people that were there. Will.i.am was there.
Awesome.
True supporter fashion of FIRST. He took a photo with the alumni. So
he didn't say anything that we got to worry about, did he? I'm just checking.
We did let him know that he's created basically an official meme within FRC. He was really, really happy for that. He was like, I thought it was a kid with a shirt on that said TSIMFD, so he was pretty thrilled.
Oh, that's good.
So, I mean, it's a pretty awesome event. Like you said, New York City is like pretty much the perfect place for it. I can't imagine it being anywhere else in the world. And, generating that kind of revenue just by people donating out of the kindness of their hearts. So
yeah, it's fantastic, and I know we're planning that as an annual tradition now. When it first started, they were thinking, maybe every 2 years, and then they saw what happened with the first one being so successful. Say, well, let's just do this every year. And I was joking around with the events team there, saying maybe we should just do this every 6 months, Yeah,
I mean,
but no, they've got plenty. They've got plenty on their hands, so.
That's awesome. We were able to see some of the new like films and footage that FIRST has put together for kind of like their marketing campaign for this year. Like they played the, This Is Not a Robot video, and it was actually really chilling to see it in that environment where you're not in an event, you're not surrounded by people who are like, oh, I've seen this video a million times. Like the people that saw it there were really kind of taken back by it. So
fantastic.
Yeah. And then the newer content, which I'm sure we'll start seeing rolling out soon, was really good.
Excellent.
Cool. All right. So moving on. So we want to get to some questions from our viewers to you, Frank.
Sure.
One that I want to start off with that I saw in Chief Delphi and is my question too as an art teacher. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color? Honestly, I would say gray, which I know is an unusual choice, but are you serious?
Yeah.
Right, the color of my hair if I had some, and I like the color of this shirt. So yeah, I kind of like gray. I know that's not so exciting, but I like it.
Awesome. Tyler, do you have any questions from our viewers that you'd like to relay to Frank?
Yeah, we'll ask a few here. So we had one from our good friend Phil from the Blue Alliance, Frank. Wants to know actually about the registration process and if there's going to be any sort of incident reporting, anything like that, all that we might see as kind of additional information in the future on kind of what went on in the background with any potential issues might have had. Just you've done similar reports for that for other situations.
Oh, I see. With the glitches that we had, whether we'd be explaining any more of them. We're not planning that for right now. But if there's maybe that is something that we can do. I mean, I know I think we did some explaining. I can't recall now. Did we explain the glitch that happened the first time with the I think we did that. If someone changed,
There was a
that
blog.
if
There was a blog, and I believe
there was a
that.
blog that talked about that. Yeah, in terms of like the nitty gritty details, which is probably something that Phil is looking for, is I don't know that we're going to see that. I mean, if there's some interest, I can always talk to the IT groups. I mean, they would be the ones that would be able to explain all that. But right now we don't have plans for that.
All right, next question we have is from Andy T1126 in chat. Wanted to know about regional wait lists on if there's a certain time that a event essentially has to like open up all their available slots, because we know in what's shown currently right now in the registration system that there are some, for lack of a better term, hidden slots for regionals, or reserve slots, right? That are reserved for teams, right? So when do those do they have to open up at a certain point, or is that kind of on a case-by-case basis?
It's kind of the direction on those reserve slots. That's something that the regional directors and the district managers on the district system have under their control. So. And the reason for that is the RDs might know of a rookie team that is coming around the corner or something, and they need to hold the slot for that. And they'll send us lists in terms of we'll ask them, hey, send us a list of what teams you want to move in. And what happens is our team support folks will take those lists, send them out to the email those teams and say, hey, do you want to move in? It's like that double check process that we talked about. And something that I haven't mentioned, just to let you know what it's kind of like in team support, is team support actually as of last week was down 3 people, so it was not a great sort of they're
so you're
really
hiring.
overwhelmed. Yeah, we are hiring. We've got someone new who either started today or is starting next week, and we have temps in place and so forth. But of course, when it comes to sort of first team support, it is something where you can't necessarily just take someone and say, okay, here's the phone, start answering questions, right? Because there's just a lot that is going on, and so we're providing them all the support we can. Of course, we have folks on the FRC staff that will fill in and answer phones and that kind of thing. And I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm just telling you what the situation is right now, that we are doing our very best to kind of keep up with the volume of emails that we need to get out and answering the phone calls and so forth. And the folks that we have at team support really are top notch, and they're just working their butts off to try to get these things out and cleared. So I would say, I guess back to the original question, there's not necessarily a deadline, but we know we are trying to get these teams off of wait lists as soon as we can. And we know it's obviously it's important to the teams. It's a real customer service issue when you're just stuck in limbo. We really do understand that. We're working to get those cleared as quickly and as fairly as we can.
You have demanding customers, right?
And rightly so. I mean, I think every day I understand how much this program costs to be involved as a team. I honestly do understand it, and I know where my salary comes from as well, and it comes from you guys. So I'm not like, believe me, I get it, and we are doing everything that we can.
And we appreciate that, Frank. Let's move on to our last question that we have here, and we'll give you kind of a send-off. So Brian from FRC 5581 TVHS Dragons asked, First has been asking, and I'm going to kind of truncate this a little bit. First has been asking for teams to help make it loud for some time now. And he wanted to know about if we could get clear permissions from FIRST to use official match videos from regionals, districts, champs, festival champions, that sort of thing. There's been some strikes and takedowns, I think, of the community. And they're just asking for clarification on that.
You know what? I'm working to get clarification on that as well. Actually, I was contacted by the our director of marketing just this morning. She said, hey, I want to talk to you about this. I think there's some misunderstanding or something, was the impression that I was being given. So hopefully I'm going to be getting with, it's Ann Cushing is our director of marketing. Hopefully I'll be getting with Ann tomorrow, and we'll be straightening all this out. Bottom line is we want teams to be able to use the video to help make it loud, and we just want to make sure that everybody in the organization is kind of on the same page on there about how we what's the best way for us to do that. But I think what's going to happen is it's going to come down to if there's a clip of your robot during a match video and you want to pull it out and put it into a promotional, that's what we're absolutely going to be able to do that. But like I said, we're working to get that straightened out. I think there was some confusion, and confusion is never good, and we're going to get it fixed and clear.
Well, I appreciate that, Frank, and thanks for making all the time as well. Last thing I want to ask you, I'm going to jump in on before Kristine sends you off here. You told us you were going to release a huge game hit for the 2018 game today, so what's it going to be?
Oh, you know what? I had that with me, and I think I even brought my folder from work, but
all right.
I think it might not be in there. No, I'm sorry, I can't.
They're with your colored pencils at the office, huh?
Awesome. Well, Frank, thanks for coming on the show tonight and answering all of our questions
Sure.
and, demystifying what you do every day at headquarters. So thank you so much, and we look forward to having you on in the future.
Thank you. I'd love to be on in the future. Great. Have a great one, guys.
Thanks, Frank.
Heading off
Bye.
to bed. Good night.
Right, take care, buddy. All right, we're gonna reset here real quick. Sorry about that as we get things. So go ahead, Kristine.
All right, so before we wrap up the show, it's time to start our giveaway. Remember, to win, you have to follow our channel, or for 5 times the chance to win, click that subscribe button for free with Amazon Prime, or for only a few bucks a month. So your support directly keeps us making shows for you. And if you're watching with a team, don't forget to log on and get in the chat right now. To win, you need to type in the following phrase in the chat.
1 second. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, so the word tonight is good guy Frank, all one word.
Good guy, Frank, everybody. So go ahead and type that in, and let me get the rest of this reset here with our fun-filled Skype thing. By the way, if anybody has anything better to use than Skype, please let us know. We really like a better option for something like that. Another comment, too, just based off a previous show. So I'm going to kind of switch over here. Previous show, if you are a sub and you're in chat, I actually think you automatically get registered for the giveaway, so just a heads up for that. I can't guarantee it, but I know we had a weird hiccup last time. So, all right, let me get everything resized here. Kristine, do you want to talk anything else on your drawing that maybe we didn't cover or catch or anything like that at all?
Nope, we're just moving on to the fun logo, so you can talk more about what's coming up in the 2018 fun season. But I did add my own flair to Corsetto. I hear that avocados are basically like the Snickers of California. Like, if somebody's starting to get a little heated or a little grouchy, you just hand them an avocado and they seem to
what the hell does that mean?
calm down. So it's raining avocados around Corsetto. Hopefully, comes down a little bit. But, tomorrow night would be a good night to tune into fun as well. Corsetto is going to be on Candidly Speaking with Karthik at 8:30 tomorrow night. I'm sure he has a lot of really good information to share with all of you. As stressful as this time can be, and I can't even imagine being in, a position where you're not sure where your regionals team is going to be competing at this year, is really difficult, but he's going to have a lot of good information to share tomorrow night with Karthik.
Yeah, and we do have a couple other really cool topics. One of them Frank brought up was in regards to that we pay for a salary. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the first pricing model tomorrow, as well. So we have Mike Corsetto tomorrow, Karthik Kanagasabathy, and Libby Kamen-Drost. By the way, congratulations to Libby. We'll give her a big congrats tomorrow too, guys. So make sure you tune in for that. So wanted to just go into kind of take this time, since we're a little bit shorter show today, to talk to you a little bit about some changes coming for First Updates now in the 2018 season. We're very excited on what's going on. And by the way, thank you so much to our subs, Little Tiger 190 and Caltran just subbing last minute or so. So thank you so much, guys. It keeps us going and lets us make cool content. So thank you. So we'll take a few minutes on here. First off, we had new content, 2017 season. We hope you guys liked it. So candidly speaking, talked about tomorrow, guys. It's been really well received. We've actually been having a lot of discussions about topics for this, because it's a sensitive area, right? Sometimes we are not sure if something's too overbearing, too underbearing, what we do for that. So we will be having more candidly speaking starting monthly. And planning on running it every month. That's the goal right now. If you have suggestions for that, we'd love to hear it. Just feel free to shoot us an email. shoot us an IM on Facebook or PM on Facebook, that sort of thing, and we'd be delighted to hear what topics you'd be interested in hearing, because we do this for you, right? Game Day Live last year. So this was something that I'm going to speak really candid. We put a lot of resources into Game Day Live. It did okay, but I think we missed the mark on something. We were under the impression originally that we were going to be getting more coverage through Twitch on it. We'd be having to present more to a audience who didn't know what was going on. And some of that kind of mixed in with FIRST starting their webcasts and getting partnership with Twitch as well. And everything's been very open, so we knew what happened when it did. But Game Day Live will be back next year. We'll be doing live commentary and coverage on regionals. However, it's going to be directed to you, the people who know what's going on. We're going to get in depth with strategies. We're going to call out teams. Things are going great. Things are not going great. It's going to be talked about on Game Day Live. So if you are watching from the Blue Alliance or anything like that, you'll see Game Day Live on the Blue Alliance website. So make sure you check it out during the competition season. We'll be doing 1 to 2 regionals a week, depending how stressed out we get. And talking, and giving more in-depth coverage on it, and hopefully boosting up our graphical appearance as well. It's one thing that we as Fun have lagged behind others in, is kind of our graphical appearance for things. So we're working hard to try to get even more professional layout if we can as well. A couple other things. So live event coverage, we're going to be trying to do our best for that. There are some new things coming by FIRST. That hopefully everybody will find out shortly in regards to what's going on for that. It's very exciting. Us and RSN actually have been working together a little bit to try to help things out. So we're hopefully, FIRST has been doing most of it, don't get me wrong, but we're very excited on what's going on with that as well. Retiring shows, we are retiring First Help Now. That was a pilot we ran last year. Probably not doing anything for that this year. And then Spotlight, I'm not sure what we're doing with yet. That's a show, if you have been with us for a long time, is something that we've been it's about, particular people, teams, that sort of thing. I think we're going to wrap that into something else. So just a heads up for that. So what's coming up for 2018? So let's talk about this a little bit. 2018 season. First off, let's draw robots. Yay! That's come. Kristine's very excited. So Kristine has been absolutely phenomenal, and I know I'm talking kind of existentially here with her right in the room, but she's been absolutely amazing at helping out with the FRC Top 25 show, bringing in these live drawings. We'd like to do this more and more and kind of turn our spotlight into this a little bit, so we can kind of, sit back, relax, draw some robots, talk to people, and this is kind of our relaxing show, so to speak, so we can just speak freely, enjoy it, have a good time, that sort of thing. New things coming up. Funalysis. That was our pilot that we did last month. It has been extremely well received. We are ecstatic about how well it's been received. And if you haven't had a chance to see it, it's up on the screen right now. We have some of the best minds in FIRST talking about matches, giving analysis about what's going on, drawing the X's and O's and the circles and that sort of thing. And wow, I mean, I just want to thank everybody who's watched this so far. We've had, like I said, really positive response, more that's coming, and hopefully more frequent as well. We're working on a couple partnerships to hopefully boost this frequency too. Next, another huge announcement that we have coming up that I wasn't sure if I was going to release this yet, but we're going to talk about it. So a lot of people asking about FRC Top 25. A lot of people asking about what we do for that in regards to the recap. So two big things for that. Recap currently has been ran as a show with the FRC Top 25. During competition season, this is huge, we are branching off Recap into multiple different shows that are short in length. We are bringing in over 20 hosts from 4 different countries currently right now, working on 6 to do shows specific to regions. So Australia is going to have its own show. Mexico is going to have its own show, in Spanish, by the way. Parts of the U.S. are going to be broken up with Canada, and we're going to get granular in specific areas. So we're very happy. We're bringing in, like I said, people who are from the area, who can speak about the teams, speak about the robots, and talk about what's going on better than what somebody like myself can. I mean, I'm from Wisconsin. I know the North pretty well, but I don't know a lot of other areas, and we're doing a lot of the areas a big disservice by not covering them the way that we want to. So we are bringing in, this is a huge undertaking by us. We're very happy about the progress so far. We have actually a really big meeting tomorrow on Wednesday about that. So if you're a sub in our Discord, we actually have a link for you. If you want to watch this town hall meeting we have with all the new hosts, that link is in there on the subs only Discord. So make sure you check that out. But these are going to be 25-minute shows for North America. It is going to run back to back to back to back to back to back. So if you want to catch your area, if you want to catch other areas, you tune in when you want to catch your show. And, of course, it's always archived on YouTube as well. So very excited about that. And that leaves a couple other things. FRC Top 25 will be branching off into its own show. We're going to go back to some of the roots that it was during competition season, specifically for this. We are working with a couple areas. I'm not going to speak too much on this yet because it's not solidified, to bring a power ranking system to FIRST. And to have something that is more objective versus subjective. We are still going to do user voting. It's still going to weigh into the results, but we are working really hard to bring you a power ranking system that can be used for FIRST, that will be specific to each year, and that hopefully we bring on a couple other heavy hitters on board to kind of back this and help us do some of the research on it. So this is something that we hear you. We know that the FRC Top 25, is it a popularity poll, Burrell? Yeah, we've really admitted that for a long time. Good teams still get up in the mix, but if you don't know about them, you don't see them a lot. So we really want to try to balance that out and bring teams that may not have heard what's going on, or you may not have heard of them, bring them into the light between the region recap, talking about specifically their area, and then bringing them to the FRC Top 25. And hopefully this will really provide more arguments probably on what the rankings are. That's just kind of the way it is. But we want to get you talking. That's really the goal, right? We want to get more people engaged. We want to get more people that know about FIRST Robotics. And all of you who are watching right now, most of you are active on Chief Delphi, are active on the Reddit, are active on the FRC Discord, and we love you. I mean, you guys are our core audience for things, but we have to start bringing in people who don't know about things like this, who are not active on Chief Delphi, because these are a lot of people who they go to their robotics for a couple hours and then they go home, and that's all the robotics that they get for FIRST Robotics. We want to bring them more. We want to get them more engaged, and we look forward to your feedback that keep making this possible. So I'm not going to drone on too long. We're going to be talking more about this in the next few months to come, and we might have a couple shows down the pipeline. But right now, somebody asked about the pilot this year. I'm not sure if they're asking about a pilot show or if they're asking about a pilot for the FRC game. But pilot this year right now is Finalysis. That's our show pilot so far. And then Region Recap will be breaking off into its own shows as well. So
awesome.
Yeah. So Kristine, I want to ask you, moving forward from the Let's Draw Robots perspective, what do you see getting out of this show? What do you see moving in future months? What do you want to do with it?
Yeah, so I'd love to get feedback from the people who are, on the show right now and, coloring along at home, what types of topics you want me to be drawing. I would love to see some of the viewer artwork. I know there's a lot of, people out there that like to do their own artwork. Specifically, I was talking to Sarah from 3132. Her sister is an avid artist, but is kind of shy about it. And, I can really relate to that. So I'd love to, have our viewers, post online, tag fun and wordplay all day on their posts so we can see it and, or message it to us, because we would love to feature, artists within our own community in the show as well. So hopefully we'll get some more guests like Frank on. I would love to see other headquarters staff members, maybe Michelle Long, maybe Mason on here coloring his favorite robot from high school.
Wow.
And hear a little bit more about the technical side of it. So, I'm game for anything. It's been really fun doing this, and I look forward to doing more and more. It'll be especially nice during, build season when we could all use, a good 45-minute coloring session to completely turn our brains off from all the work we've been doing at the shop. So
awesome. Well, Kristine, let's. You want to do the giveaways?
Yeah.
All right. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the sticker sheet first.
Sticker sheet first. Okay. So we're gonna do the sticker sheet first. Give me 1 second here. I gotta bring it up. This is the fun of being a producer. So you gotta do all this stuff up and around. All right. So the winner of the sticker sheet is going to be. Hey Matt, 1511 buddy, resubbed today. Gets himself a sticker sheet coming in the mail to you. So make sure you reach out and PM me with your address, and I'll get that out to you. So congratulations, Matt, for winning that. And then, Kristine, can we part you with this sheet that you have? Do you want to give it away? I don't want to put you on the spot there.
Oh, I guess so. I'm really enjoying the, shower of avocados around Corsetto, but I mean, I got plenty of extra sheets that I could just do that too.
All right, so we'll let you autograph it. We'll give that away. And we hope you want it. Stick it up and frame it, right? So we'll do that. We like to do multiple giveaways. So the winner of that is the Spoon Mechanic. Spoon Mechanic. Congratulations, following since September 12th this year. So congratulations. Shoot me a PM with your address, and we'll get that out to you. And you can claim you made it, by the way. Well, I don't know. Kristine's autograph's going to be on it. So
it's not on there.
Okay.
Price. Wait, I will leave it off.
You can let us know what you want to do with that. So awesome. All right, that's going to wrap stuff up, Kristine.
Awesome. All right, so thank you, everyone who's been helping making the show possible, everybody that's tuning in at home and coloring along with us. If I think we already went through how to subscribe, but I should remind you again. If you want more FIRST Robotics in your life,
subscribe, do it.
And like what we do, it would be absolutely awesome of you to click that follow or even better, subscribe button to help support fun and get some awesome benefits. If you have an Amazon Prime account, like pretty much everybody does nowadays, don't forget you can subscribe to Fun for free, or it's just a few bucks a month. On behalf of myself and our producer Tyler, I would like to thank you for tuning in and thank Frank for stopping by, and thank all of you and our moderators in the chat. And we will see you next time on Fun, hopefully tomorrow night, and we will talk to you then.
See you guys. Take care.